Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Today our group will present about the analysis of our action research, which is Jomanjib. This is our group members. The table of content consists of 6 elements. Firstly, we go to the background and rationale for the study. This innovation is the result of fellow teachers' experience who have created Jomanjib to teach students Islamic education in primary schools. Because she teaches in China's primary schools, she faced difficulties in explaining those topics to her students. Then she created this innovation to overcome the problem, which is to explain the topic clearly and simply to the students. She then attempted to teach the topic using the innovation she created. The students responded positively to her, whereas his students quickly grasped the concept of rules. The study's rationale is that rules is a must-known topic for students to learn as early as possible before puberty, because the students' worship will be invalid without knowledge of the subject. Furthermore, this topic instills the virtue of Mahmudah, which is to maintain personal hygiene. The model developed can also aid teachers and students in the learning and teaching of this subject. As a result of our findings on this product, we plan to develop a new version of Jomanjib that will be aid to the innovation that fits the age level in high school, because the subject of rules in secondary schools is more detailed than in primary schools. Furthermore, we intend for the new version of Jomanjib to address related issues and questions that are frequently raised in relation to this topic. It is hoped that efforts to improve this innovation will help students understand the
Number 2 is research question. Research question, we have 3. 1. What are the constraints faced by student and teacher in using Jomanjib for the teaching and learning process? Number 2. How do Jomanjib as a tool help students understand the topic of Oslo effectively? Number 3. How practical is this Jomanjib model? Now, we go to the research objective. Number 1. To identify the constraints faced by student and teacher in using Jomanjib as a tool in teaching and learning process. Number 2. To examine how teaching of Oslo topic Jomanjib as a tool to help students understand topic effectively. Number 3, to investigate the practicality of the Jomanjib. Now we go to the research instruments. We have 2 types. First, how to answer the first research question is we use a research design quantitative, and type of data collection we use survey and interview. And then number 2, we use a quantitative, and type of data collection is survey and observation. Number 3, qualitative, and we use interview.
Next part is literature review. The researcher only quote about studies that are relevant and related to the research problem. Many previous studies have only emphasized personal hygiene care, but in this study, the researcher emphasizes students' understanding of the correct way of rules. Hartley's 2016 Teachers Journal titled "The Use of the Jomanjib Model in Teaching the Topic of Rules" was examined. She developed the Jomanjib model to help primary school students at SGK, which is Chinese, Yukon Keningau, understand the concept of compulsory bathing. For a study on Wismayani entitled "The Influence of Teacher Pedagogical Competence on the Understanding of the Taharah Model Among Students," based on the analysis described in the thesis, the students' understanding of the Taharah material is at a high and excellent level. It can be concluded from the 2 studies above that the first study focuses on the rules chapter, but is not comprehensive because it only focuses on the correct rules method. The second study only discussed the chapter on Taharah and the importance of cleanliness in Islam.
Firstly, the importance of choosing a topic to study, and that's informing the Muslim community of the importance of purifying oneself or themselves from hadas. It is not fulfilled. If it is not fulfilled, then it will not be valid, and the worship will also be considered invalid. Next, important to researchers, it can be used as a useful reference and motivation for researchers in daily life maintaining cleanliness. Researchers help researchers to teach the topic using Jomanjib. Next, important to institution, society, especially teachers, Islamic education teachers, that it's very important to the community, especially teacher of Islamic education, as a reference for awareness in teaching and giving students and understanding about the dictionary bathing, so that they always maintain cleanliness and be a good example to the students. Next, important to the education in this study is important to education because it encourages students to maintain personal hygiene. Next, a student will study in comfortable and clean environment because they understand how important it is to look after themselves as excellent student. And last, what is the effect if not study about this topic about the rules or obligatory bathing? The effect is not study is that students will worship without knowing that their worship is invalid because they are in a state of great hadas. And next, researcher cannot identify the practicality of the model. Besides, researcher cannot identify the effectiveness of the model.
Next, I will explain about description of methodology and the results. Alright, we have choose three methodology of Excel research, which is survey, observation, and interview to achieve our research objective. Okay, now let's see the results that we got from the simulation of the Jomanjib. Okay, first for survey, we do survey to focus on to achieve our two objective, which is to investigate the practicality of the Jomanjib. Second, to examine how teaching goes through topic using Jomanjib as a tool to help students understand the topic effectively. So in the survey, we have three sections, which is first, details of the respondent. Second, the level of students' understanding of the topic of course based on the Jomanjib model. And the third one is the practical level of using the Jomanjib model. Alright, for section B is to test the students' level of understanding of the course topic using the Jomanjib model. There are 5 questions in the survey to test students' level of understanding. We use a Likert scale to see the level of student understanding. Then, the data shows that the answers of the 10 respondents from the first and second questions were on a scale of 5, which is strongly agree. While on question 3 to 5, the students answered on a scale of 4 and 5, which are agree and strongly agree. This data shows that the Jomanjib model is successful in helping students understanding the topic of course well. Okay, next for section C. On the other hand, to test the practicality of the Jomanjib model. Similarly, we prepared 5 questions. In the first question, respondents choose a scale of 3, 4, and 5, which are less agree, and strongly agree. This shows that there are those who do not agree with the practicality of the Jomanjib model based on the first question. That is, the size of the Jomanjib model used is appropriate in the learning process in the classroom, meaning we can take consideration in determining the size of the model that is more suitable. While question 2 until 5 all choose scales 4 and 5, which are agree and strongly agree. This still proves that the practicality of the Jomanjib model is at a good level but can still be improved from time to time. Okay, the result of our observation. For observation, we have prepared an observation form that needs to be filled out by our own group members to observe 10 respondents to achieve the objective, which is to examine how teaching goes through topic using Jomanjib as a tool to help students understand the topic effectively. As you can be seen on the graph, the researcher chose a scale of 4 and 5 only for all the questions in the observation form. This shows that the respondent understand the topic of course based on the Jomanjib model, and the researcher also prepared quiz questions, and the 10 respondents were able to answer the quiz well. Thus, it be concluded that students can distinguish the things that require bathing for men and women. Then, students understand how to carry out activities involving men. Next, students are able to show how to use Jomanjib correctly. And the last one, students are able to remember the correct way of course. Okay, next, we conducted an interview session. This interview session was in groups to achieve one of the objectives of our study, which is to identify the constraints faced by students and teachers in using Jomanjib as a tool in teaching and learning process. As a result of the interview, we found some constraints that faced by the respondents in using our Jomanjib model based on our 2 interview questions. Namely, first, what are the problems encountered when using the Jomanjib model? So the sample answer, it is difficult to determine the body parts on the Jomanjib. This is maybe because of the less realistic dimension. So while the second question is, are the parts of the body that need to be paid attention to when goes through must be clearly shown using Jomanjib? So the sample answer is first, the respondent answer, less need to be explained in detail. Example, for the second sample answer, if possible, the ginger man can squat, which is easily flexed, to make it easier for them to understand the correct action or position during the course process. With that, we found that some respondents had a little difficulty in determining which parts of the body need to be cleaned using ginger man.
Lastly, I will explain about implication for future study and change. For the implication for future study, the first point is the use of Jomanjib in learning is very meaningful for improving the functioning and learning of students as well as teachers. The second point is emphasize learning with a demonstration method that can increase student engagement both physically and mentally. Teaching obligatory betting with the use of Jomanjib, which seem to be a structured game, is able to improve student imaginative, logical and spatial skills. And the last point is students do not feel awkward to learn about obligatory betting because there is a clear demonstration with the use of fingermen from Jomanjib. This is very suitable for students as well as a teacher to facilitate delivery in the compulsory betting learning. The use of demonstrative learning like this can also be done in several topics in the subject in Islamic education. And the last is changes. The first point is the fingerman can be flexed to show a more distinct position, such as squatting. Second point is coloring the area that needs to be concentrated on during the mandatory pass. The third point is fingerman's model should be more realistic. And the last point is the water spray should be colored to show the water spreading evenly across the fingerman's model's body. So, the conclusion from this point is the fingerman models need to be greatly improved in order for learning to be clearer and more effective.